Today's the 16th of June and we're here for another AI video roundup. This week I have watched 15 different videos and podcasts. They're podcasts on YouTube. I don't watch the videos, I just listen to most of them. And that was over 5 hours of content that I just listened to, let alone what I've read as well in the week. So for those of you that are new here, this is an AI generated summary of all the AI news and content that I've been listening to and consuming to try and keep up with what's happening in the fast-paced changing world of AI. The reason I'm doing this is I need to stay on top of this for my team and help them share information that I learned so that not everyone has to go through the same thing. And since I'm sharing it with the team, I might as well share it with everyone else. So here we go. So I haven't seen this script before. This is the first time it got generated by an AI automation this morning, and now I'm going through and reading it. Hey friends, here's everything interesting I learned in AI and tech this week. Apple's new take on AI thinking sparked some lively debate. OpenAI shattered expectations with a powerful O3 Pro, and Meta made an eye-watering $15 billion investment hitting at their superintelligence ambitions. But the big buzzword right now, vertical AI agents. Here's what you need to know. The AGI race accelerates. This week, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman published his powerful piece, The Gentle Singularity, arguing that we're already past the point of no return towards artificial general intelligence. Altman predicts real cognitive agents by 2025, complex robotics by 2027, and by 2030 we might see a transformative boost in human productivity and economic abundance. But it's not all utopian dreams. Altman stresses the greatest challenge ahead is alignment, ensuring AI adheres to humanity's long-term vision, values, and making sure AGI doesn't end up controlled just by a few powerful companies, such as his. Expanding this conversation, Google's DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis has caught my attention when he introduced Alpha Evolve, a fascinating AI system that designs better versions of itself autonomously. Demis is optimistic about near-term breakthroughs, especially in healthcare and drug discovery, thanks to AI-driven algorithms and AlphaFold. So Alpha Evolve is a take on evolution, that's why it's called Alpha Evolve. But what this means is the code base just randomly makes changes to the code base and then continually makes changes down branches until it gets a better result. If it doesn't, it culls that branch, but then goes back to where it was good and maybe it does a different change. So it's trying to sort of replicate the process of evolution through natural selection on its own. So it's a really interesting place that it's trying to get to. Not sure what this means or if this is the driving force to getting AI that improves itself long-term with proper AI and machines start building machines. But it's definitely an interesting take. And there was quite a few recap videos on that Sam Altman paper. The discussion from him is we've gone past the event horizon, we've gone past the point of no return with where we are currently in the stack. So getting to that artificial general intelligence is they can get us there now because of where we are based on all the incremental changes that have happened. Apple's AI skepticism and the O3 Pro breakthrough. Apple made headlines for its skeptical paper, The Illusion of Thinking, challenging whether language models like OpenAI's GPT genuinely think. The argument, these models just pattern match beautifully and struggle with genuinely complex reasoning. So in that paper, Apple was giving it tests and checking the reasoning of the models. They couldn't test against OpenAI because OpenAI sort of, the thinking models that you use, so O3, O4, O1, when they show thinking, that is a summary of what is actually going on in the background that's hidden from the user. But I think Claude and some of the other open source models, that's all available. So they were looking at that and understanding that it doesn't actually think. Well, the way I interpret it is they're not thinking, they are glorified autocomplete. And I've been using that term for a while and that's what everyone uses probably. But what they're doing is the thinking is just an extra step to help give more context to the model to expand upon what the user has given it. So it looks like it's thinking because it's talking through things, and they've got a system prompt which is telling the agent, this is what the user said, what are some possible options, what other ways could you do this, re-describe their problem in a different way, ask some questions, and it makes it look like thinking, but it's not. It's just building more context so the model knows how to deliver a better thing. So continuing on. Then came OpenAI's new O3 Pro model, stealing Apple's thunder. So yeah, that dominated the news then last week. The O3 Pro astonished everyone by effortlessly cracking Apple's toughest reasoning puzzles. So Apple was suggesting instead of using the benchmarks, which the models can be trained on or trained for, they should use puzzles, such as the Tower of Hanoi, where you got to move the 3 blocks from one to the other, or that like crossing one with the sheep and the wolf and the farmer. But it's not perfect. This powerhouse model struggles somewhat with response times, triggering mixed reactions from the industry. So O3 Pro is very slow. Someone did a hello, and it took 7 minutes to respond. I ran I'll check what it did actually, a O3 Pro research the other day, and it was stuck on thinking over an entire day. So I don't know if it actually finished or not. I'll leave it, but it was quite, like one was 8 minutes, the other one was about 20, and then one hadn't finished overnight. So there is a lot of processing going on in there, so that's only available to the pro users. Industry buzz and visual AI advancements. Speaking of O3 Pro, companies are already strategizing on leveraging its strengths. One impressive case, Raindrop, who directly loaded internal datasets into O3 Pro, generating actionable strategic plans impacting goals. So the Raindrop was just a product that someone was talking about and discussing how it will work. In other updates, Midjourney and Meta unveiled new video generation capabilities. Google's Veo 3 Fast made an AI generation affordable and much quicker. So Veo 3, you've probably seen hundreds of those videos online. Their Fast model is just a quicker way to be able to get something out. Signaling that 2025 may be the year that AI-generated videos truly become mainstream. And they probably will be. Once they become a little bit more affordable, it's going to be taking over. Meta goes big with ScaleAI and superintelligence ambitions. Can't ignore it, Meta just invested a staggering $15 billion acquisition, acquiring 49% of ScaleAI. Their ambition is clear, establishing dominance in the AI and superintelligence frontier. ScaleAI's CEO Alexander Wang moves to Meta, leading a new superintelligence lab, causing ripples and raising questions about competition and ethics in the AI industry. The reason this is causing ripples and raising questions about ethics in the AI industry. ScaleAI is a platform that helps label images and content that is then used by all of these organizations, Anthropic, Claude, Meta, etc., to have a data set that is correctly labeled to train their models on. Now that Facebook owns half of that, is there going to be a problem with, I don't know, the competitors using that data set? Smart move from Facebook, which is buy the platform that everyone's using, makes the most sense. But then, yeah, it's really a competition problem where is everyone going to be happy to use the platform that Facebook owns half of? Facebook has these data sets, and plenty of them already. They're one of the large pioneers in the image recognition because they're getting people to tag people's faces in photos, if you remember a long time ago, and then objects. So then they were building out data sets for training models. That's how they got so good in their predictions when they'll post photos to your Facebook feed. This ScaleAI does it across everyone, and now Facebook's back in that model, or Meta, as we say. I don't know. It's hard to remember that one. Vertical AI agents, the billion-dollar opportunity. So this was from a Y Combinator. No, it wasn't AI. It was an AI engineer podcast with someone from Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company, giving a discussion. Okay, so the big takeaway for entrepreneurs and startups, vertical AI agents are the new frontier. Casetext, an AI-powered legal assistant, pivoted their entire team overnight after trying GPT-4, eventually securing a blockbuster $650 million deal with Thomson Reuters in 6 months from that pivot. So Casetext would summarize law cases and provide briefs back to the lawyers. They were early access to the models, so they were testing things. They went really well, and then once GPT-4 came around, it really transformed what they could do, and they really skyrocketed and be able to do everything. So I think it was 290 people worked at their business. Overnight, they stopped whatever features they were working on and started building out the GPT-4 powered version of the product. Vertical agents not only simplify mundane tasks, but provide billion-dollar SaaS opportunities across industries. Pfizer also provided an illuminating example. They employed knowledge graphs and Neo4j's GraphRAG to tackle massive internal documents, dramatically expediting complex biopharma processes. So in the context of software development, a graph is effectively a chain or like a node. It's not a graph like you would picture in maths. There's like a node A with two nodes A, B, and then they've got other nodes under it. So what they're doing is they're using the GraphRAG platform to create a structured version of their documents and their content. So when they can then provide that structure to the model, it has greater context in what it's doing, as well as then if something goes wrong or they're reviewing it, they can go back and see what those nodes that were provided in the structure that was given to be able to assess it better. So clearly, AI agents combined with specialized industry knowledge will dominate innovation narratives moving forward. I think that's true because generally we have general models at the moment are good at everything, but they're not very specialized in certain fields or certain industries. So once you build in that speciality and expertise in the models, the people that are in that industry will get better results because it understands what they're trying to do better. Practical AI tools, new browser agents and voice models. For practical utilities, Runner H, an advanced browser agent powered by H Company's HoloOne, really stood out this week. It autonomously navigates complex tasks online, showcased brilliantly by scraping eBay listings into a spreadsheet on its own. So it's going through any website, so you could turn any website into a data set effectively through that model. Voice tech is also improved dramatically. 11 Labs V3 voice models now have human-like emotion, expressiveness, including whispers and laughter. So they were a lot more human-like. That's even exploding in that space. So once we get the AI-generated videos with the AI-generated voice that you can't tell apart, we're going to be in an interesting world. Apple's WWDC 2025. So that's the Worldwide Developer Conference from Apple. I did a little video about this last week talking about their liquid glass UI. That's going to make people with existing apps have to force change to build the UI depending on how they've created the UI and what components they've used. But there wasn't much talk about AI in their conference. So I'll go back to the summary and see what it says. A quick visit back to Apple's WWDC 2025. Amid all the AI skepticism, Apple did launch robust integrations like live AI-powered translations throughout iOS. So you could be talking to someone in a different language and you can translate it on the phone as you're looking at them. They've also got call screening. So if a phone call comes in, the AI can answer the call for you and figure out if you need to respond to it or not. And call holding. So you can make a phone call, be put on hold by the other end, and the AI will sit there and wait for you to then, once it's ready for you, it will then ring back and then you can answer it and continue the conversation. So that was the biggest integration with AI from that. Otherwise, there was not a lot about Apple Intelligence and everything else they're doing. They were just really focusing on this big graphic UI overhaul. Their liquid glass UI is polarising though, beautiful to look at, but raising readability concerns across device screens. A lot of people worried about the contrast because it's see-through. They also aligned all of their operating system versions. So everything is now version 26 this year. iOS, iPad, Apple TV, Vision OS, Watch OS, everything's now in aligned version numbers. Notably, iOS 26 finally comes closer to Mac OS level productivity with serious multitasking enhancements and window management that could redefine tablet roles. So that was a cool change to at least see on the iPad now, that you can have multi-windows floating on top of each other, quickly resize like you would on a normal computer, similar to what I've been able to do on my phone with floating windows. So that was cool to see, and that'll probably make tablets for certain people a lot more useful. Closing thoughts. It's evident AI is shifting gears rapidly in capabilities and real-world applications. From OpenAI's reasoning giants to the strategic corporate race towards superintelligence, this week proved how urgently we need conversations around alignment, transparency, and equitable access as we rocket towards AI-driven future. Thanks for tuning in. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on these developments. If you've got any comments, any thoughts or theories, leave them in the comments on the video. I'd love to have a discussion with anyone about any of this stuff. And as always, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Otherwise, until next week, good luck staying on top of everything.